Hi all, today I'm going to explain about product rule creation using a 12-step wizard. This wizard finally creates a product rule. Product rule is a rule in PEGA which contains rule instances and data instances. You might get a doubt that what is this rule instances and data instances? This rule instances and data instances is nothing but source code developed by the PEGA developers. This is diagram which gives a pictorial representation of the product rule, which contains package of rule instances and data instances. Data instances contains the organizational instances like organization, division, unit, and operator ID, access group, work basket. All these instances belongs to this data instances. Rule instances are nothing but the rule sets, versions. All these instances are packaged in the product rule. We will have to package it so that we can extract a zip archive. The zip archive can be called as a jar file. This jar file can be used for importing into the target environments. You might get a doubt how to compare this zip archive in a real-time example. I mean, like you can take a loading van, which will be used for shifting the luggage from one location to other location. We will be loading all the luggage into the van. Similar way, we will be loading the zip archive with all the rules to be transferred from one location to other location. With the help of the product rule, we are trying to package the rules into the zip archive, and this zip archive will be used for deploying into the target environments. Indirectly, the product rule is playing a crucial role in successful go live of the application. Coming to this, let's explore the rules related to the 12-step wizard. First step, this wizard will gives us a list of the applications that we have access to. If you want to deploy the entire application and its associated instances to the higher environments, we have to select the application, and then in the respective steps, in the next steps, we have to select the respective instances related to that particular application. Then finally, a product rule will be created in a rule set with all the instances packaged. And here you can also see that there is a product target. Product target is a place where the product rule will be created. You might get that doubted that what is this location target? Why you have to specify the location target? In the real time, if you want to download a software, you will try to provide the location into which the particular software needs to be downloaded. Whether it is a C drive, whether it is a D drive, whether it is in the downloads, whether it is in the documents, whether it is in any folder, you'll specify the folder into which the particular software needs to be downloaded. Similar way, once the wizard will package all the instances, once we select all the instances that needs to be packaged into the product rule, finally a product rule will be created. That product rule needs to be available in a location, in a application rule set or version. Application rule set and version. We have to mention both rule set and version where this particular product rule needs to be created. We'll specify the rule set name and version. I am specifying the rule set name and I am specifying the rule set version. You can take the highest version where the particular product rule needs to be created. Then we'll go and click on the next step. Here you can see the list of the applications available for this current application developed by me. We don't need to select the PEGA application because this is already available in the target environments. This is already taken care by the platform team. We don't need to take it from the dev environment. Please be cautious in moving the PEGA applications. We should not move it. We'll uncheck this checkbox. And here I have only one application available. In the real-time scenario, you'll have multiple built-on applications, and you'll also have the frameworks on which the particular application has been developed. We have to select that particular application also. Here I have only one application, so I'll be selecting the one application. And as you all knew that application is nothing but it's a rule. It's also a rule. This is a kind of a non-version rule which belongs to rule set but doesn't belongs to rule set version. It contains rule sets, application stack. Stack consists of the rule sets, versions, and this belongs to rule set but doesn't belong to rule set version. And these are inherited from the rule hyphen classes. So these are called as non-version rules. Just for your knowledge, I'm giving this information. So I have selected the application and I want to show how the built-on applications. Here the built-on applications is Theme Cosmos. Theme Cosmos is built on which application? Built on PEGA rules 8. So we don't need to provide all this application information which are related to the PEGA. As discussed already, just I'm trying to reiterate the same point. I'll click on next. Here, most of the scenarios will not be using this section at all. Only you'll get this necessity when you're using the legacy applications where you have some dependent jar files to be provided. Unnecessarily don't add any jars here, which will break the entire functionality of the system. We should be very careful in adding the jars here. Currently, I don't have any jars in my application, so I'm not adding any jars. In 99% scenarios, you'll not use this section at all. So click on next. Here, you can see that organizations that are mapped to an application. In real-time scenario, everyone is aware that application is mapped to the organization. So this organization instances are need to be available in the target environments for the successful running of the application. If this organization instances are not available, it will be causing a failure to successful running of the application. So initial first release only we have to move this organizational instances. You might get a doubt why I'm stressing the point of initial release only I need to move the organizational instances. Because initial release is nothing but first time only we have to move this. There will be no frequent updates happening for this organizational instances. Only one time this will be moved and there will be no frequent updates for this organizational instances. It's a very rare scenario. Organizational instances like organization, division, unit will get updated and that particular instances needs to be moved to the higher environment. Once it is moved, that's it. We don't need to move it repeatedly, these instances. So I'll select the instances which is required for my application. My application organization is DOE. So I'm selecting the DOE. How I can see this is if I go to this operator, if I see this in the work tab, you can see this organization, what I belongs to. Actually, currently it's not mapped to the correct organization, but for my application, the respective organization is DOE. And I click on next. Here, access groups. I would like to select the access groups created by me and which is required to be moved to the higher environments. What happens if you don't move the access groups to the higher environments is it will be causing severe access issues, severe login issues. We will not be able to access the application itself if the access group is not available in the target environment. Even the operator IDs are not being moved from the lower environments to the target environments. It will not be having any issue. You should move the access groups. Without access groups, you will not have access to the applications. If operator IDs are not moved, what we can do is we'll have an administrator operator ID to create a sample operator IDs in the target environments and we can map it to the respective access groups. If the access group itself is not available, how you can have the access to the application? Like what I mean to say is, if you go and see in the application access group, I'm having access to renewable application. If this access group is not moved to the higher environments, you'll not have access to this application, even though you have operate ready to access this application. Okay. Next, I'm selecting all these 3 access groups because these 3 access groups are required for me to be moved to the higher environments. Once I click on next button, I'll get the sample operator IDs which are created for developers so they can develop the code in the lower environments, in the dev environment especially. Actually, it's no need to move the sample operator IDs to the test environment or the production environment. In the test environment, you can use the admin operator ID for the creation of the operator IDs, and you can map the access groups for that respective operator ID. So I'm not selecting the test operator IDs, just whatever operator ID very much required for that particular routing purpose, we will do it. Even for that one also, we don't need to move. Actually, I don't need any operator ID to be moved. Just I'll simply use MDM data type, data API. This data API is explicitly for one API. It is required to be moved for the lower environment. Sample operator IDs, simple thumb rule is don't move that sample operator IDs. Use directly the admin operator ID for creating the operator ID and provide the respective access group, and you can start accessing the application. That is a best suggestion I can give. And even in the production environment also, you don't need this sample operator IDs. They'll have one kind of authentication mechanism for creating the operator IDs in PEGA, that is called as identity management system. This identity management system, what it will do is, it will push operator ID and the respective role need to be mapped to that operator ID from the front end. That will create operator IDs and the respective roles, access groups mapped to that operator ID in the back end. So all this mapping mechanism, that single sign-on mechanism will be there. Every company will be having their own identity management system mechanism for creating the operator IDs in PEGA. So don't need to worry about it for bringing the operator IDs from the lower environments to the higher environments. You can ignore it. So in the production environment, just reiterating the same point, we will be using the identity management system for creating the operator IDs in the PEGA. Identity management system is nothing but some kind of authentication mechanism for accessing the PEGA application, which will create the operator IDs automatically with respective access groups mapped in the PEGA. So I'll click on next. So when you're trying to bring the operator IDs from the lower environments, try to get the passwords from the infra team and update with the respective environment passwords. You should be cautious related to this updation of the passwords. Work queues. Before explanation about the selection of the work queues, which should be selected and which should not be selected, I would like to explain what is work queue. Work queue is nothing but a basket of assignments. A work basket, a basket containing lot many fruits, and it is being locked. And who is having the lock? For example, 15 locks keys has been created for that particular lock, and 15 persons are having access to open the lock and can take the fruits and can start eating them. Similar way, assignments will be available in a basket, and the operators who are having access to that particular basket can start opening that basket, can start opening that assignment, can start taking the assignment, can start picking the assignment, and can start working on it. Who comes first and who clicks on the get next functionality, get next button, he can start getting the assignment and he can start working on the assignment. This is another functionality, get next functionality, which is used for getting the most urgent assignment to be worked on by the user. And manager also will be having a capability to assign the assignments to the operators who are reporting to the manager. How in the family, a family head is mother. Mother will be having capability to distribute the fruits to everyone in the family by having a central lock available with her. She can also have the authority. She can keep a central lock with her and she'll try to open the central lock and try to give the fruits to the family members. Similar way, manager will be having authority to give the assignments to the team, delegate the assignments to the team. Just you try to relate that example, it will be easy for you to remember what is meant by work queue or work basket. So I'll select the work baskets that needs to be selected. I'll not select the default work baskets which are required only. I'll select it. I'll select the work baskets which are required for me. Once I select this, you can also have the second page for this work basket selection. I'll not select the default work basket. I'll click on next. Work group. Before selection of this work group, I would like to explain about what is meant by work group, what it does. Work group identifies the supervisor. Work group identifies the set of the workers and the work baskets that are reporting to that supervisor. So whoever reporting to that particular supervisor, the list of the workers will be identified by the work group. It mainly identifies the supervisor. So I'm unselecting the default one. I need only grant WZ work group. I'm selecting the grant WZ work group. I'm clicking on next button. Here you can get the list of the data tables. Data tables is nothing but the data types which are created as part of this application. Here the data types which are appearing in the data types explorer: address, customer, energy, partner, code, and how many instances are there in this particular data type is also being shown here. If whatever required, I can select it. Which is not required, I don't select it. I required only partner and I required energy, customer. I don't want solar. I'm unchecking the checkbox. I'm clicking on next. And I would like to say, before going into the next checkbox, next step, what is this data tables? What happens? How the data tables will be created automatically in the target environment. When you're trying to import the zip archive, the PEGA will automatically takes care of creating the tables in the target environment, and also the mapping of the columns also will be taking care. We don't need to worry about how to create a table, how to map the columns, how to move the instances. Everything will be taken care by the PEGA itself. This is one of the best features of the PEGA. Once you click on next button, here we'll be selecting the Java code archives. Java code archives is not required at all. Most of the times you'll not be using this. You'll be using for the legacy systems. So whenever you try to use the legacy applications, then the dependency will be there. You should not take all the jar files which is not required for you. This will break the functionality of the system. Here you can get the list of the data types, databases which are related to us. We have created a history table instances, PEGA data, customer data. We have created the work table instance is also mandatory thing that we had to select it. Which table instances that are required for us, we had to select the table instances. Which is not required, we don't need to move it. In some instances, we don't need to move some of the history table instances, which is not mandatory. Which are the data types required, we can select it, and which is not required, you don't need to select it. Click on next. You can get the list of the integrations which are being developed by us, and some of the PEGA out-of-box integrations will be there, which is not required to be moved. These are available in the target environments. So you have to select this integration resources which are developed by us. So I'm selecting this. Some of the customized PEGA integrations also will be there. I have customized a few integrations like service packages. So I need to move that service packages. Even it is PEGA out of box service package also, it is being customized by me. So the latest changes are not available in the target environment. So I have to move this customized service package into the target environment. Once I click on finish, it will create a product rule. You can have the preview. You can modify the product rule. You can also export. About the export of this jar file, I'll explain it in the other video. I'll modify the product rule. You can check the instances which are being packaged during the 12-step wizard. If you want to add any data instance, if you want any rule instance, you can do it. You can add any PJ DNS keys, you can do it. You might get a doubt. What is the rule sets being included? I didn't added any rule set instances. Because when you're trying to select the application, all the application rule sets are automatically included. You can also see this preview checkbox, which got automatically included. So you don't need to again explicitly add the rule set instances. Till now in the 12-step wizard, we have selected all the data instances only. Once the application and its associated instances are selected, we have selected only operator ID, work baskets, work queues. We have selected the access groups, all the data instances only we have selected, and the rule sets information, everything is available here. You can see here. Here, there is a custom production rule set is there. You can check the checkbox if you want to move the production rule sets. You can see this in the definition tab of the application. In the advanced section, you can see the production rule set available. DM arch. Once I click the checkbox, that will get added. You can go and check the preview product rule. You can see that production rule set getting added in the product rule. This can be packaged and you can extract the zip archive. This GM arg also will get included into this package. And when you click on preview product rule, we have seen the instances what are being packaged as part of the product rule. You can click on create product rule, give the meaningful name. It will extract the zip archive, but it is not allowing me just because there are unlocked rule set versions are there. This is my personal instance, so I hadn't locked all the rule sets. Please be careful when you're trying to deploy it into the target environments. We have to lock all the rule set versions. Currently, I'm asking to system to allow the unlocked rule sets also. I have clicked on the checkbox. I'm trying to create a product rule. It will allow me to create a zip archive. Even the rule sets are not locked, but this is not a good practice. Always try to lock all the rules, whatever you have developed. Just because this is my personal instance, I hadn't locked the rule sets. But in the production environment, in the real-time scenario, you should lock the rules. It's not good practice at all to unlock the rule sets. So when you download it, this will forms the zip archive. This is nothing but the jar file. You can use this jar file for importing into the target environments. Thank you. How to import it into the target environments, I'll come up with the next video. Thank you for listening.